guard Brittany Sykes. What new challenges do they present now?
Yeah, she's good. She's an all-star. I think she brings another athlete to their perimeter, someone that can really, on both sides of the floor, affect the game. She's confident. She can get downhill. She's not afraid of taking tough mid-range, and she can make them. She can get to the basket, and then defensively, just another athlete that can help defend, and so she makes them better for sure.
Go to Zoom, DJ.
Hey Coach, it's DJ from LA Sparks Weekly. Quick question. In regards to Slim, now that you're talking about her, what's the balance with playing Seattle Storm since they're so fast now with speed and efficiency?
What do you mean balance?
So which would be more important? Seattle Storm plays pretty fast. Are we just trying to play more athletically and keep up, or are we slowing the game down?
Oh, girl, you know me. We're not going to slow the game down. They got to keep up with us. That's my mentality. So no, we're not going to try to slow it down. Seattle's very good in transition, especially off of turnovers. So whenever we played them last week, we did a good job taking care of the ball, and so we held them to their lowest points per possession in transition of the season. So it's got to be a concerted effort, but we're at our best when we play fast. So that knife cuts both ways. They've got to defend us.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You bet.
Jackie on Zoom.
Hey Coach, obviously back-to-back games is a little rough, and you've always talked about turning the page. What do you want to see from the team mentally as they go into tonight's game?
Toughness. This is what the league is, and everyone goes through it, and no one's going to feel sorry for us, including me or them, or ourselves. We've got to be locked in. This is part of playing in the WNBA, and is it hard? Sure. Is it a reason to not give it your all? Not at all. So, not looking to give us any excuse to not be our best in terms of effort and execution. Last night we ran into a really good defensive team in Golden State, and then we just shot it really poorly. And it wasn't like it was just one or two people; it was everybody. And you play 44 games, it's going to happen. And so we've got to turn the page. And the way we score it, I don't anticipate that being an issue today. But you've got to find other ways to win. But in regards to the back-to-back, we got to be tough.
Hey Coach, I actually wanted to ask you a little bit about Kelsey's playmaking. I know during her intro press conference, she said she had a goal to be top 5 in assists. I think, now that we're more than halfway through the season, she's actually a top 3. Just how have you been able to kind of tap into that part of her game and just kind of unlock that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, for her it's a learning curve. When she was in Vegas, she was not the head of the snake. It's Asia Wilson, right? And she was ready for the challenge to be the guy. And she's taken that head on, but it's a learning process, right? And so I think she's learned that when she's creating for others, it opens up things for her. And I think you saw that like in the Connecticut game. I think she only had 1 field goal attempt in the first half, and then finished with 18 and scored some big buckets in the fourth. And that's exactly what your best players should do. Get everybody else involved, and make sure we're kind of flowing, and then when they need you, you step up. So I think she's done a tremendous job. She's very smart, very self-aware, is able to say I should have done this better or that better. But at the end of the day, she's supremely confident because she's put in the work. So it's going to be a continued work in progress, just in terms of learning how to be that. But I think she's done a tremendous job.
Justin.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Because this is your guys' first back-to-back of the season, do you anticipate possibly kind of tinkering with minutes for players just to make sure that they're not running up against a wall like they could on the second night?
Yeah, and I think so much of substitutions and as the head coach, a lot of it is feel. By this point, you know what your players look like when they're starting to get tired. And I think a key, when you win in substitutions, when you take them out before they hit the wall, right? Before it looks like they're running with the parachute pulled. Take them out before that. And so, we'll see. These guys are incredible athletes. But, in a perfect world, yes, we we get to our bench probably earlier than normal.
Hey coach, against Seattle, less than 2 weeks ago.
Whenever it was, yeah.
Nneka had 37 points.
Mhm.
When you look back at film, what do you see from her performance that day that can kind of help, you guys tonight? And then my second question, for KP, you talked about how she's super smart and she doesn't buy into like schemes when she doesn't,
Yeah.
believe in them or understand them. What is her like presence on the bench like? How does she make you a better coach? What is she saying on the bench? Is she like an assistant coach? Like,
Yeah, okay, in regards to Nneka, I think we need, Nneka's one of the all-time greatest players ever in this league, and she is just so good and cerebral and athletic and strong. We need to clean up our ball screen coverages. A lot of them where we were out of rotation, rotating the wrong way. She sets a lot of ghost screens, and we were in a coverage when we didn't need to be, and that left her open. So we've got to clean things up on our ball screen coverages. That's where she's getting a lot of points. She's still, you're not going to hold Nneka to 0, right? But we've got a limit. But we certainly can't give her 37 again, right? So, we've obviously not a lot of practice time, but, in film and talking about it, we've come up with some things there. And then in terms of KP, what is she like on the bench? Opinionated, but I love it. It makes me better. So, we'll banter or have conversations, but at the end of it, she's always 100% in. So she'll challenge me, but not in a bad way or a disrespectful way, but just kind of wanting to understand. To your point, like if she gets it, she's all in. So yeah, it's kind of like having a coach out there, and strong people need to be around strong people. So she's a strong person, so am I. I think it works really well.
Justin, last question.
I know every team does deal with back-to-backs. You guys have had to travel back home on this one. The one later in the month, you have to travel to Seattle. With the nature of the back-to-backs in the league, obviously it's a byproduct of an expanded schedule and teams coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you would like to see adjusted with back-to-backs, whether it's maybe both games are at home for the team that's on them or anything else?
I'm not trying to escape this question. I don't know enough to have a good answer there. This is my first year in the league, so I don't like having opinions if I'm not super educated on it. Playing home back-to-back certainly seems like it would be better, but I'm sure there's complexities to it that I don't understand. So, yeah, I mean, ideally there aren't any back-to-backs, but I know that's not realistic, so we just roll with it.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you guys.